Welcome back to Let's Play Darkest Dungeon. I'm your host, Timepants, and today we are going to get right to it. What are we going to get to? A boss fight. Finally. I know it's been ages, but we're finally going to get into the meat of the darkening here. The dark meat. Terrible. So, I have done a bit of legwork to try and get everything set up here, and as you can probably pretty well see, finances are a bit tight, and it's not really fun to try and figure out where we're going to cut. I don't offhand remember if the Necrolord actually uses, like, Blight, for instance. I don't think so. I think that is just the Prophet's Bag, but not knowing is really terrifying, because, yeah, anything could go wrong. Oh.
Mastery over life and death was chief among my early pursuits. I began in humility, but my ambition was limitless. Who could have divined the prophetic import of something as unremarkable as a twitch in the leg of a dead rat?
That is so good. What is that? That is Dark Side. And for a full darkness run, I feel like this powers me up. Like, I feel ready to go, and scouting off the bat is not bad either. So, how are we going to do this? I mean, it's pretty obvious where we have to go, but... okay. Yeah, I definitely want to take advantage of this. The question is how to do it. So, Okay, I think that we're prohibited from camping in the first room. I just want to check, because obviously this would be the best case scenario if we can just camp right off the bat here. But, well, yeah, okay. Okay, I kind of suspected that we wouldn't be able to get away with that. It was worth a try, especially since Corvusor is stuck with that pretty nasty debuff here, and yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. More scouting is phenomenal, so yeah, this pretty much paves a clear path for us all the way forward. No, okay. So, we can be relatively certain, alright, that, yeah, all we need to do is camp, get the buff, and then head to the boss fight. Now, obviously, we are in kind of a awkward situation where we could actually find ourselves run out of camping. But with a fork in the road, we do have a way out where maybe we're not going to have to eat that fourth fight until we get to the boss. So I feel comfortable doing this. If we get too much farther ahead, chances are we're probably just going to end up wasting a lot of food unnecessarily. We're probably going to have to end up, we're probably going to have to end up fighting something backtracking anyway. So I think Corvusor is probably the ideal beneficiary for Bless. Yeah, standing in front with the lowish HP total she has, especially being only level 1. Yeah, I think the dodge is useful enough that I am an idiot. I did not mean to apply that buff to Renauld. Whoopsie daisy. Alright, so how are we gonna do this? Yeesh. Okay, well, I put myself in kind of a shitty situation here. That said, I mean, we can shuffle trinkets around a little bit and maybe get a little bit more benefit out of this than we otherwise might expect to. So, who gets what? Like, obviously, no, like, I'm just kind of scratching my head here. Yeah, I really put myself in a shit situation. Yeah, maybe this is the way to go. Because, yeah, you know, Hellion's still going to get some accuracy buff from the Surgeon's Glove, and maybe that's enough. Obviously, the scouting is great, and we don't want to get ambushed because that would sacrifice a huge chunk of our buff advantage. So, yeah, let's just get sorted here and go back. What am I doing? Go back for the buff. He says, going forward. Alright, yeah, hopefully we're not going to eat too much stress walking backward here. But, yeah, this is hopefully going to put our damage in a decent situation with the Hellion. So, same. You know, our accuracy is probably fine. Obviously, losing the dodge is bad. But it's not terrible. I have to kind of get my head in this because, yeah, I don't think I handled that camp. Well, I know I didn't handle that camping as optimally as I could have, but okay, this is fine. We should just be able to clown on these fools, and yeah, with that, pretty much any genuine threat that there could have been for this encounter is gone more or less immediately. Okay. Shit. I have no idea where this sudden proficiency came from because, yeah, that's phenomenal. I genuinely thought Renauld would do a little bit better at closing out the fight there since, you know, the entire reason that I brought him is because, you know, he whips on undead. Like, that's a little bit of a letdown. So, heading into the increasingly inevitable boss fight, I'm, yeah, now quite concerned. That said, I mean, our health is fine, our stress is fine, our scouting is preventing any real meaningful damage from being done to the party before the big boss fight, and provided we get out of it with any kind of health, health still to spare, we can go and get that treasure room, and I think that's only like my first or second treasure room that I've ever gotten in this playthrough of the darkest dungeon in this challenge playthrough. So yeah, if we can walk away with a big stack of loot on top of finishing the boss quest, on top of okay, I think we can realistically, yeah, okay, we're realistically gonna beat him to the punch. But yeah, if we can walk away with that on top of, you know, quest rewards, boss drops, just regular treasure from the dungeon, we're gonna be in a really good spot, and this might be sort of our pivot to get some momentum and really start to build up a fighting force that has a reasonable chance to actually be promoted into the higher levels here. You know, these novice dungeons are great, but yeah, we've got to start thinking about level 3 and beyond as we close out the last batch of boss fights here. A little bit of a waste, but not bad. And I was actually hoping for a map just so we could... Oh, some lore, okay. My end, I scrawl this, victim of cruel fortune, who took me up on my wager, for I have lost my lucky coin, and I now lie helpless as my blood flows swiftly from my ruined body. My fingers are cold. It was no trap, no raving cultist that sealed my fate. We were ambushed by strange, undulating shapes, two small entities that I cannot hope to describe in a third, much larger beast. Poor Moira was crushed into a pulp as Therion defended her. He soon lost his arm and his wits left him. Shambler! Shambler! He kept shrieking as Raven yanked him to flee. I tried to play hero, to buy them a few moments, blew away one of the smaller monsters, last shot, and smashed into the wall. The big one. Maybe they made it out. Well, yeah, that is, that's more or less how a Shambler fight goes, I suppose. Yeah, somebody dies, everybody's thrown into a panic, and all of a sudden, shit hits the fan. Wait a minute, were there... Wait a minute. So there's Theron, Raven... I'm an idiot. Were there 4? Was the narrator number 5? I don't really care. Alright, so... yeah, this is... I mean, obviously I'm not thrilled about the stress, but yeah, I think we can even afford to bash this thing open. Oh shit, that's a lot of money. Alright, well, let's, I mean, let's do this. This is honestly looking like the best opportunity we will have to take down a boss that we are likely ever gonna get. I mean, we are in perfect condition except for my idiotic use of Corvusor to try and disarm. I mean, can you blame me? I wanted to knock out some of that stress before the big boss fight, but yeah, this is looking solid. I mean, I could eat, but honestly, I don't see a compelling need to. Alright, so yeah, the plan here is basically, I don't think I have the sustained damage to... yeah, I don't think I have the sustained damage to try and drag things out and do a lot of crowd control. So the plan is really just, I mean, case in point, right? The plan is just to wipe the floor with the Necro as fast as possible. Whatever he summons, we'll deal with it later. I mean, exception being when we can take it down and deal damage to him at the same time. Obviously, we're not going to get a lot of opportunities to do that, but yeah, things, I mean, just judging from that first round, things have been pretty solid here. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of want to do yup, but at this point, yeah, we've done such a good job of taking the fight to the Necro that, yeah, I just kind of want to keep the damage train rolling. Like, holy shit, we could realistically kill him with this attack. We didn't, but realistically, we had a chance. And, I mean, yeah, between the bleed, the fact that he is in prime range for a number of our characters, yeah, I think we take this down. Like, I kind of want to stun just so this guy is gonna be stunned for essentially 2 rounds. Nice. Alright, the other soldier here could potentially go down, yeah, now. And now, really, who would have thought we can use this boss fight to actually get the party back fighting fit so we can continue further into the dungeon. So that went exceedingly well. Holy shit. I mean, that was textbook. Holy damn, dude, pour one out.
Be wary.
Maybe there's something to this dark side. Holy lord. Like, we don't usually clown on bosses. I mean, I can only think of really a handful of boss fights that I ever had in New Game Plus that went even, like, remotely how they were supposed to. So, yeah, for us to come in here, fight in total, like, this is the first boss I think I've ever fought in Total Darkness. And, yeah, it went real well. So, we got one more fight to go. And, obviously, we're going to have Corvusor try and redeem herself. Very good. Yeah, we have one room battle, and then we're gonna get just a fat stack of treasure. Like, damn, dude, this went well. Of course, fuck you know, this is like hazing. This is sort of the initiation ritual. She's level 1, so, you know, if you want to hang with the cool kids, you're going to have to deal with a little bit of hazing. So, in light of that phenomenal fight, I just have to ask anybody else out there to whom this may apply, have you ever, like, gotten experience points? Like, you know, earned experience points? Like, gotten IRL XP? I have. Just, you know, a handful of times, obviously. But, let me think. Okay, so probably the first time I ever got XP IRL was back in college. I know I was a bit of a late bloomer. But, yeah, back in college, please bleed. Shit. I was sitting in the library, like, waiting around for a group project. And, you know, rather uncharacteristically, I showed up early. It's not typically my habit. I know that probably annoys some people out there who have been on the end of the group project where the fool doesn't show up on time and you're sitting around waiting, getting some text messages, terrible excuses, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I hear you. I'm sorry. But I was, unfortunately, that guy. Not so much anymore, but okay, what's our lore here? Oh, yeah, I keenly remember the keen writing of this keen journal. I just have a very keen sense that we've already read this one before, so I'm not too keen to read it again. So, anyway, I was hanging out in the library, and all of a sudden, under, like, the bench that I was sitting, scampered out this tarantula, like an actual literal fucking tarantula. So maybe this doesn't mean anything to you. In like northeast Missouri, where I was going to university, like this is basically like fucking Halley's Comet. You don't see tarantulas anywhere. Like not anywhere. And yet here I was. It ran out and, yeah, just kind of took a quick peek at the surroundings. It's like, you know what place is really, really beautiful this time of the year? Up this motherfucker's pant leg. And, yeah, it just, like, all of a sudden started humping my leg like it was a poodle in heat or something. And, I mean, I'm just, like, you know, trying to kick it off with one leg, using my other leg to like scrape, you know, down my pant leg, trying to get this thing to dismount. And, you know, I'm like shaking and flailing. And of course, you know, the one Saturday that there are actually like people at the library, of course, that's the weekend that this happens. So all of these people are just sitting around watching me like kick and squirm and struggle and like kind of shriek and do like a panic like that sort of thing. They're all there. They're all watching. And of course, once I finally drop this motherfucker, like it looks like a hairy popped balloon and impressive to nobody. By the way, if you're like a spider lover, if you're a fan of the tarantulae, if you are a big fan of the arachnids, I apologize for this story if it upsets you. I am not. Like straight up, I have arachnophobia, and it was brought on by like watching the movie of the same name when I was 6 years old. So I was just absolutely horrified by what had just transpired, but by the same token, I did ding level 2 that day. So I'm sorry if you have like a pet tarantula and this is very upsetting to you, but for me this was a matter of life and death. I understand that tarantulas are not deadly or not poisonous, are in fact probably very, very nice pets, but like at the moment I wasn't thinking, oh my god, like what have I done to one of nature's beautiful 8-legged creatures. I was thinking to myself, I am a modern day David Arquette, and I BTFO'd an eight-legged freak. By the way, that movie, Eight-Legged Freaks, maybe this is not new to you. That movie is sort of a textbook example why you should have somebody check your punctuation. Of course, who's gonna do it, Corvusor? This is why you should always have somebody check your punctuation when you title a movie, because it should be eight-legged, like 8-legged freaks, and instead it's just eight-legged freaks, like 3 separate words all standing on their own, which essentially means that rather than fighting a number of freaks with 8 legs, instead this sleepy Hamlet stood up in their own defense against 8 freaks with at least 1 leg, which I think makes for a much less compelling movie. Of course, David Arquette's year, or decade rather, the early 2000s, just a rich tapestry of cinematic genius. Good lord, guys, of cinematic genius. Of course, there is Ready to Rumble, the movie where, for some reason, Diamond Dallas Page, who, if you were not a wrestling fan back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, I am so sorry because you missed out on some good stuff. But he was like one of the most beloved wrestlers out there, and you made him the bad guy. I'm not really seeing a reason. Anyway, The Run. How about The Run? Well, against my... really? Okay, well, that's nice. That's useless. Against my better judgment, I am going to try and continue The Run and maybe get a little bit more. But honestly, I'm a little terrified about the food situation. So yeah, I was just gonna see if there's anything worth our while there. There was not. But holy shit, how about that run, huh? That was awesome. Eldritch Hater is an amazing quirk, and now the real question is, who's next? Well, Siren is an interesting choice. I mean, Hag scares the bejesus out of me. Swine Prince, maybe. That's a good trinket. So, I'll have to decide. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.